Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of FPL Backbenchers. This is your host Somnath. I'm joined along with my co-host Anjan. Anjan, how's it been? How is international break treating you, and how was your last game week?
Last game week was pathetic for me, as usual. And the intentional break, oh, yeah, it's okay, fine.
How many points did you score last game week?
I scored around 40, 41 or 42. I don't remember exactly. And
Okay, it
then
was
right
not
now
bad.
yeah. And right now my wildcard is active right now actually. So I'm like pretty happy with that.
And that's something we would be talking about extensively later down the pod. Uh, Last game week is also, it seems so much long back right now due to the international break and nothing happening in between. So I also scored 41 points. I took a -4 hit, and so effectively that was 37 points. I also went down 100k in position, which was I think pretty much the standard or the average as to how it was going. And speaking of how the standard, somebody who was completely against the standards and who actually had a game week is our guest tonight. And if for people who don't know, uh, first of all, Rohit, welcome. This is Rohit Joy
Thank you,
Dsouza.
Somnath.
Yeah, Rohit is India all-time rank number two according to Premier Fantasy Tools, and he's also one of the top 250 managers in the world, all-time ranking-wise. So he is probably the anti-definition of somebody who is an FPL backbenchers. So we are absolutely pleased and graced to have your presence on our pod, Rohit. How has the season been,
Yeah,
and how was the
my
game week?
pleasure to be here. Game look was good actually. You can say decent enough since the captaincy was a failure in Lukaku. He was a mass captain, of course.
Yeah. So he was captain for everybody, and you scored around I
Exactly.
think 48 points.
Yeah, 40 minus 4, 44 to be precise.
Yeah. Something that is not mentioned probably is how good your rank currently is. Can you please state for the viewers what exactly is your rank right now?
I guess it is just about 22k.
So you are around the 20k mark. That is
Yes,
probably a target for a lot of people for the end of the season. So yeah, you are a true veteran in
it's still pretty
true,
early in the game. Still pretty early in the game this season.
and you have already played your
Long way
wild
to
card
go.
as well.
Yes.
Yeah, you have played your wild card. I'll just bring up Rohit's history right now, and it's an amazing history. So this is the 14th season, Rohit, you're playing, and
Yeah,
before this, in
correct.
13 seasons, you have top 5k finishes 5 times. Bravo! You have got two top 1k finishes, and barring 2 seasons out of the 13 seasons, in 11 of the seasons, you have not finished outside 74k rank overall. That is some
Mm.
consistent overall ranking that I've ever seen. Like
Thanks a lot.
how are you so consistent? Year on year
Uh,
after, if you have to like state like what are the probably the top three reasons why you have such a consistent ranking. And you have been always been around the scene. I being from the same country, we do get to frequent and do get to know each other over different courses. So how are you so consistent with it?
the main reason I think is I go with my gut feel for whichever player which I want to select. I go with my gut feel, the instinct, and I guess the main reason is the lack of hits in the previous years which I had been playing was the main reason for my success in those years.
Your lack of what?
Means lack of hits, unnecessary hits, minus
Okay,
four,
you
minus eight.
lack of fair. All right. So
Yeah.
you are somebody who does not take a lot of hits, right?
No, I do take, but I try to keep it at the minimal, not take much of a hit. Means even
So
if I do take a hit, I think twice, thrice before taking any hit. If it requires short term, even then only if it you can say if it's absolutely requirement, then only I go forward with the hit. Otherwise, it's a complete no for me.
okay. So what exactly is too much hit for you?
Minus four, if it, for minus four itself, I need to think twice, thrice before taking minus four. Imagine minus eight is certainly a no go for me. Minus eight, it's a
Okay.
certainly a certain no go.
Okay, you never go for a -8, and -4 is a
No,
hard thing for you.
yes.
Okay.
Because in FPL, if you see, every point matters. Even a single -4 will have a drastic effect on your rank.
Okay. But does that not, I mean, hamper capitalizing on the bandwagons that are going, or probably the players who are hot right now?
So there are two sides of it. Suppose if you are taking a -4 to get a particular player, so
Hmm.
in order for your team to get rid of the -4, that particular player need to outscore you by -4 +4. You need to score, or you need to at least give a, if you're the defender, they need to give a clean sheet for it
So
to be a, you can say, for trade-off.
if it's for a longer period of time, if you're taking a hit for the long term, I mean, you're not looking to switch out the player immediately after 1 or 2 game weeks, and you're
Then it's understandable. Like for
okay.
example, this week I took a hit -4. I took it to bring in Lukaku as well as Chelsea defender Rudiger.
Okay.
But since it was more like 5 to 6 game weeks down the line, which I need the players,
Hmm.
so I thought that it is pretty much, you can say, used worth taking a hit this week.
Okay. So you do not take hits on impulse for a single game week per se.
No, that's not. That was the main reason why I took a wild card. Because I remember game week 4 when I used my wild card, it was just hours before the game week deadline. I wanted
Okay.
to have Luka, I wanted to have Ronaldo, I wanted to have DCL in that game week.
Okay.
But I could only afford either one of them, Ronaldo or DCL. And if I want both, then I had to take -8. So just to
Okay.
avoid that -8 or -4, I took a wild card. And through wild card, I got more players as well. Like for example, I got the Wolves asset because I knew they were having good fixtures coming. So I
Okay.
utilized that time to get the Wolves assets as well, along with Arsenal defender Ben White, because he was also supposed to have a good fixture run in the upcoming game week, starting from game week 5 onwards.
Mhm. So, like, I mean, obviously, you were unlucky in that case because DCL eventually got injured and never got to feature in that
Exactly.
particular game week when you
But it
took
was
the
a blessing
wild
in
card.
disguise for me. I got in Jimenez for this year. When I got injured, I got in Jimenez. It was a
Okay,
blessing
you.
for me, you can say.
So, I mean, like, interestingly, I will come to this Jimenez decision as well. So,
Okay.
once you went for, like, the wild card that you played in game week 4, it was probably not a very dazzling wild card that affected your team
Yeah,
and gave your team a
you
huge
can
boost.
see.
Yeah, so like if a wild card probably has not gone correct, and I believe that you are somebody who does not actually like a wild card. In fact, I mean, we were chatting before the
No,
pod,
it's
and you
true.
were saying that you do not like a wild card. It's a curse for
That's
you.
true.
So
Yeah, it is.
in that case, do you go on rectifying your team with hits, or you are patient with your team if the wild card has not
No,
gone
see,
right?
as you said, it's correct. For me, wildcard has been a curse because what I feel is that wildcard is just a means where you destroy your own team. So personally, I try to get rid of it as soon as possible. That's been my, you can say, you can say it's like been a boon for me to get rid of wildcard so early to have a successful season.
So that's been a mainstay strategy for you, playing an early wild
Uh,
card and probably
probably, probably you can say that because it has
okay.
never worked for me. Because I know whenever I wildcard, the team of which I put eventually I go on destroying it further down the line.
Okay. So like when you wild card, and if mostly your wild cards, do they work or it's usually a fail? I mean, from what you are
Usually it's
saying,
a
it
fail.
seems
Usually it's a fail in the first week itself. But
okay.
this season has been a completely different. This season
Okay.
was a success. You can say the first week itself was a success.
Okay.
Though I need to take a hit immediately after wildcard because of this still injury, obviously, and Torres also going out of form. I mean, out of favor also, along with out of form.
Okay.
So
So
it did work in the short term. Let's forgive.
has it ever happened with you that you have wild card, and as it is you are unlucky with your wild cards, and then a lot
Mm-hmm.
of your wild card players that you brought in, they were all injury hit. So in that case, what do you do?
Yeah, many times. It has happened many times in the past. It has happened many times in the past. And I had to take hits just to remove the injured players. I had to take the hits.
Okay. So in that case, you don't think about the hits because they are for
No,
injured players,
because
right?
see, if a player is injured, obviously no point keeping him.
Yeah.
Especially if the player is like 11 million, 12 million player. there's no point keeping him in the reserve. You can better utilize that
Okay.
money elsewhere.
Okay. So has it ever happened? I mean, like, I'm just curious since you are somebody who is very cautious about taking hits. Has it ever happened that you've rolled over a transfer and you felt that you don't need to use a transfer as well, and you have
No,
actually
many
not
times
used a
actually, many times
transfer?
actually that was my strategy. If I'm using a wildcard early, my main strategy is to keep accumulating free transfers, like roll over the transfer. And suppose if I'm planning any particular player, like they have a good fixture run in the upcoming game week, so try to roll over the transfer, and with two transfers I can like get anyone which I want, any player which I want, even if it means taking out extra hit -4, and so I can do three transfers together to get my
Okay.
target.
So you kind of try to play a mini wild card in that sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because
Has it ever
it's always handy to have three transfers at your disposal.
Okay. Has it ever happened to you that you felt like you don't want to use a transfer and your transfer actually went to waste? You did not use your free transfer even though you have two transfers?
No, not really, because any always every week there's something or the other which does require treatment in your team.
Some issue or the other. All right.
Exactly, there's always want to happen. FPL doesn't go to plan always. It's
Okay.
always unpredictable.
So as you said earlier, like it was a blessing in disguise, and you got Jimenez. So
Yeah.
why once you went for Jimenez, why didn't you go for Bamford? Let's say, what was the thought
Exactly.
process in
See,
that?
the primary reason was Bamford. In fact, I evaluated both Bamford as well as Jimenez. Jimenez had good fixtures, but the stats were also good. Like he was getting good chances, he was creating chances, but he was somehow not getting points for that. Whereas Bamford also he got a goal or two initially, but Bamford had a good fixture run after a couple of weeks. That is after game week 6, we can say, after the
Okay.
City game.
All right.
So I thought better why not take Jimenez now and Bamford later on for maybe Antonio or some other player then.
Okay. So are you like since you have been playing for a very long time, you have been playing since 2008, and I'm sure you have seen this game go through a lot of changes, like even I have. So have you adapted to
Indeed.
stats? Because stats was not that heavy back in the days. So are you like a
I
stats
agree.
driven manager, or like how do you play?
Not really. I'm not much data driven, but I do take them into consideration. If I'm making any transfer, I do
Hmm.
look at the stats. That is, I do look at the fixture run, then his record against that particular team in previous meetings, his XG, XA, current season, and then taking into
Okay.
consideration all these things, then I decide whether I want to go out with the transfer or not.
So what are the main
And
stats that you look at?
as I said, XG, XA are the ones, along with the fixture run, like how many, what are his fixtures like in the short term, like 3 to 4 fixtures down the line, how are his fixtures going to be,
Okay.
and his past meetings record against that particular opponent, previous meetings.
Okay. So you don't go after those crazy like stats, that extensive stats. You don't go for them. You just go
No,
for
no, no.
simple expected goal, expected
I'm
assists.
still pretty much old school in that case. I go with my instinct, and stats are just, you can say, a driving factor for my decision. It's not a sole factor, but it's just missing too much of stats just adds to confusion. So better to keep it at the minimum, you can say, not solely
So
dependent on that.
so you are a very I mean eye test kind of a manager.
Yes, you can say
I
that
can
to
I
some
can
extent.
assume
Yes,
right. So you
yes,
do
you
watch a
can.
lot of games. I'm correct?
Uh, it- uh, right now, it's been difficult for me to watch all the games,
Hmm.
but I do used to watch it. In last season, I used to watch it, but last couple of seasons has been like I was not able to find time to watch all the games.
So you watch
But still, I
highlights or
do
something?
follow. Yes, I do follow highlights after the games. Whenever I get time, I do watch some highlights on Hotstar and this thing,
Okay.
and try to check
So
whether, like, for the yeah.
So when you watch the matches, while deciding what is exactly eye test for people who don't understand. So like, what are you watching in a match for a particular player?
See, for example, the positioning of the player is important. Like, for example, my reasoning for going for Wolves defense, double defense, was simple. I got in Semedo, and that was because he was playing in the opposition half the entire time. Whenever I saw him, he was like a, you can say, Arnold of Liverpool, similar to him.
Okay. So
Unfortunately, didn't
yeah,
get
he
any
was
points for me so far.
Absolutely, playing a very attacking wing back kind of a role and was
Exactly.
always ever
So
present in the
it
box.
was like a dual situation position for me. He would give me defensive points as well as attacking potential is also there for him.
Okay. So you take positioning into stock a lot. So
Yes, I
positioning
do.
of the player and where is he present? Is he shooting from outside the box or is he shooting from inside the box? Those things do
Exactly.
matter.
And that was
And
the main
decision.
reason if you see my team in game week one itself, I had gone with double United and double Liverpool midfield. Because
Okay.
Greenwood was supposed to play in forward position after the Rashford and Cavani. So I
And
selected
actually,
Greenwood in midfield.
Greenwood performed exceedingly well the first three game weeks. I mean, I
Exactly.
think he got goals in
And
each of the game weeks, and third one was an assist. Yeah.
yeah. And I got Jota in as well because Jota was supposed to play after the Firmino. And Jota will play as a striker. So there
Yeah.
was also no brainer for me to go for Jota as well. Double Liverpool defend forward and mid and double United midfield ahead.
Okay. So, are you like a big at the back kind of a manager, or you are somebody who puts everything into the attackers and you are cheap at the back kind of manager, or is it
No,
according to the
I prefer
situation?
to go with attacking potential.
Okay, so you
Defense I try to keep at the minimum, like not spend much on defense. But if there are players like Trent Alexander-Arnold who deserves to be picked even at 7.5, obviously it's a no-brainer for me. Because that guy can give you assist, clean sheet, and goal as well.
did you double up on City defense last season? Double up or triple up? That's
Double up, I don't remember double up, but I did have Dias last season. I don't think I doubled up. I had De Bruyne. Actually, I doubled up in the midfield. De Bruyne and I guess I had Mahrez as well at some point in time.
okay.
Sorry, De Bruyne and Gundogan, not Mahrez. De Bruyne and Gundogan I had.
Okay, so you jumped on to Gundogan pretty early, or like it
No,
was
not pretty early. I jumped in, you can say quite late, but not pretty early. I jumped after his return. After his halt, I jumped into it. That was the main reason for my there's not so good performance last season because I didn't jump onto the bandwagon so early. Bamford, Rafinha, Gundogan, Socek. I got them
so.
after their all, you can say, after the one their run was over at the extreme end.
So is it like you jump onto bandwagons? I mean, you don't generally trust bandwagons, or you don't trust players who are not premium.
I didn't used to, till last season I didn't used to trust them. But last season was a failure because I didn't trust them.
Okay. So like in
So
the yesteryears,
usually I give time to the players. Like whichever player I'm getting in, I give them at least 3 to 4 games at least to make sure that they perform.
Mhm.
But last season was completely different.
So like in the yesteryears, did you go for players like Arun Ramsey, Yaya Toure? Did you like took this kind of players when they were having
Uh,
those amazing
yes,
seasons, or you?
I did used to have Toure because Toure was a guy who used to be like, I remember he was on free kicks as well as penalties also Toure.
Okay.
So he was basically was a midfielder, but still he used to give me points, attacking returns.
And
Ramsey
how
as well.
about
Ramsey because when he was injury free, Ramsey was he
he
used to
had an
be there
amazing season. I
in
mean,
my
I
thoughts.
think amazing couple of seasons he had with Arsenal back to back,
Exactly.
and he is not actually exactly the definition of somebody who is very attacking or
Huh.
who we usually consider for our
But he
FPL
used to come
teams.
up with the goals.
Yeah. So you did go for them.
Exactly. That's what that
Would
season I used to means like I had to go by the eye test. Means there was not much data at that time, no. So just used to go with the eye test, whichever player we see, okay, fine, he's finding a good position, he's getting himself in good position, good attacking position. Then okay, goals are bound to happen then.
true, because data at times will say that the player is over performing his particular
Yeah,
XG or
exactly.
XA, but if you're actually watching the game, you can see that the positioning of the player is totally
Yeah, exactly. Positioning is important
suited
for me.
to how he is playing. How do
Those
you
days I used to
generally?
watch them.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I was just about to ask, like, so since there is no eye test, or I'm assuming that you don't watch too much of championship football, so like, how
Okay.
do you go about newly promoted players from newly promoted team? Do you take them a
For that,
call?
for newly promoted players, for newly promoted teams, I need to go dwell into data then. I need to check in their past history, like how are the players, are they like attacking players? I need to read stuff on. SFS, other articles on available that whether how good are those players, which players to look forward to from the promoted teams.
Okay, that's good to know. So you are not somebody who jumps on early on a newly promoted player as such.
Not really. I look them as an enabler to have a like low budget player in my team, just as an enabler for the high budget players.
Okay, so any particular way as to how you decide that you go about it, or like you just uh,
No,
whoever
for
is
it's
hot or
simple. No, it's simple for me. For newly promoted teams, I tend to have a look at them at least for initial few weeks, let them perform, and then see which performing player is good, so that I can have that player rather
yeah,
than getting that
because
unknown quantity. Because it's like unknown quantity for us. We don't know that player. How is he going to perform?
plus
It's a
they are
complete
really
ball
cheap,
game
right?
playing the championship and Premier League.
Absolutely,
Uh,
and plus they are
well,
really cheap, so it will not be like it will be a huge jump to actually get them a few weeks later, right? They're not
Exactly.
like
Eh,
premium players.
They won't be like heavily owned, you can say.
True.
So even if
and
the player performs well, yeah. Sorry, Anjay was speaking to
no,
them
no,
something.
no,
Yeah,
no.
Anjan is
Like
trying to ask you a lot of questions basically.
Yeah, sorry, I'm cutting him off. Wait, that's why.
no, no, no. It's okay. Completely fine about that. Actually, I just wanted to know your thoughts about Brentford this season right now. Like their defense, Iva Tony,
Sorry, I
MVMO,
didn't get you. Who's Watford? Brentford.
Brent,
Brentford.
Acha, Brentford.
Hmm,
Actually, I saw this for a couple of games, Brentford, especially the Liverpool game. Uh,
hmm.
they are a very attacking team, I can say. And defensively also they're not so you can say easily rolled over. You can say they can be easily rolled over. Like we saw against the Chelsea City game as well. Sorry, City game as well as Pool game. So there are team which we can like look forward to like to have the assets from that team. But they didn't had a good fixture run in the beginning. Hopefully when the fixture improve, we can look at the options. And Biomom is good in the midfield. We can say he's a budget enabler. He's not in, below 6 million, I guess. So you can have him.
Yeah.
Tony in the mid of attacking section. You can have him on the wild, especially if you're a wild card. You can consider that person.
Okay.
Defense I
I
find difficult to trust from the promoted teams.
got it. So absolutely right. I mean, what you're saying about watching the promoted players and not really. It's not an urgency actually to jump on them from day one itself. I mean,
Yes, exactly. We
they
can
will
play a
not.
wait and watch game.
I wanted to ask Rohit, like there you have been playing for so long. There must be game weeks where your team did not do as well as probably everybody around you. So
Yes,
like,
so there
how
has
do
been many
you
times.
Yeah, so how do you motivate yourself from those kind of game weeks when it is very demoralizing and very demotivating? So how do you recover from those particular game
You
weeks?
just take it with a pinch of salt and just hope to move forward. Like there's always better things coming next forward, next thing. So you can hope for the
So
best in the coming game week.
okay, so do you like shut yourself down from FPL for a couple of days, or like you go into planning for the next game
Yes,
week?
I do that. If I'm having a bad game week, what I do, I just keep myself completely away from the SPL and SPL website, everything for at least for 2 days, 1 or 2 days. If it's a single game, where game week happening continuously, consistently. If it's a international break going on, then I don't give a go for at least 3 to 4 days. I don't open the site.
You don't open the site itself. So do you open the
Exactly.
site a lot? Like is it
No,
like
no.
are you somebody who opens it daily once, or is it like just when you want to make the transfer you open the website?
Uh, Later punishment I want to do the transfer, but I do open daily if I'm taking a wild card. So obviously you have to
Yeah,
pay with the
absolutely.
prices
Yeah,
that time.
absolutely. You have to keep on tinkering in that sense.
Exactly. You have to find an extra point one gain which you can get from the wild card.
Do you pay a lot of stock to price rises or price falls in that sense, apart from wildcarding, general game weeks?
Right now I'm not sure. I'm not so keen on it because right now the price falls are so unpredictable. You can say you can't predict. Even though site is saying that is a particular player going to drop or fall, but it hardly happens. You can't predict those prices right then.
Right. So, but
Some guys
generally,
give large. Generally, I used to do. I used to take count of price, especially if I'm having a wild card with me at my disposal. Because wild card, you need to have a good squad value for a wild card. Once you
Absolutely.
develop a good squad value, it's easy for you to get the players which you want.
So now, not like particularly per se, I'm asking about wildcard. When you are not wildcarding, right? When it's not a
Huh,
wildcard, and if you are
huh.
wanting to go for, let's say, a particular player, and if you see that he might be rising in the week pretty early, so do you go for the player, or do you wait for the press conferences and get that final confirmation that everything is all right, and then go for the
See,
some alternative?
usually what I try to do is I try to wait till Friday or Saturday before making any transfer. I try to wait for the pressers, if for the managers, if I'm getting anything to listen to from them. For a particular player is injured or if he's having big matches, Champions League matches or cup matches. So better to wait for the transfer.
So how do you
But
react
if
to
I'm
then
but
after the process if you're a particular player that you were interested to go for and then he's out of
uh,
budget, then how do you react
see
to
if
that?
if a particular player, so suppose if I want to buy Salah and I'm finding that he is increasing right now, but if I can afford him even if the price rise, I prefer to wait if he's having big matches. If he's not having matches, then I'll transfer him immediately.
And what
Transfer
if
him
you
away.
can't afford him after the price rise, but he
Uh,
also has midweek matches and you want to wait for presses? Then in that case, do you
no, then in that
compromise
case,
or do
if
you take a
suppose if
hit?
I no, suppose if I can't afford him later on, then I will budge him. I will eventually take him because obviously such a player I can't afford the less. But I know if I wait, then I can't afford him, of course, without him. So of course
Right.
I would take that risk to get that player in. But preferably I prefer to wait till the process are done by, so that I can get all the information at my disposal to make the decision.
Absolutely. Now, when you usually wildcard, or actually when you are registering the team for the new season and you're building your team from scratch, so
Okay.
how do you go about structuring the team? Like, which are the guys that you pick first? Do you pick the bench players first, or do you first like to go for the premiums? And how do you go about building your team basically?
So the first thing I look forward when I'm building a team is I look forward to the fixture, upcoming fixture. Fixture I
Mhm.
don't mean by 1 or 2 weeks. I mean like long term, 4 to 5 weeks at least. If any team is having a good fixture, I'd go with that. When I replaced in my wildcard this season, I had gone with the Wolves player because I saw them having a good fixture at least for 6 7 weeks. They were having a good run. So I will double defense. The first thing I look
So
forward is the fixture.
okay, so like for the past two seasons, especially since COVID has struck us,
Uh,
having a very playing bench is very important, which was probably not as important back in the days. So, like, have you adapted to that, or you still are somebody who generally focuses on the playing 11 and don't put too much stock into the bench
No, I
itself?
had to take it. Even last 2 seasons, I had to go through that pain. Like if I'm buying a player, the particular player has gone injured or maybe COVID positive, so he was supposed that like my team is in shambles. I need to make decisions. That was ended up taking more hits. That was the main reason for me for my failure last season, you can say, because I had to take many hits because of beat injury or beat lack of form of beat out of favor.
But for the last season itself as well, I mean, you were amongst the top 50K for I think till game week 33,
33,
and
33 game week.
yeah, so it must be that you must have adapted very well to the season, because generally
Yes, I
if you are
was.
somebody who did not have a lot of bench or who is not used to have keeping bench players, so how did you adapt to that? I mean, like, are
See,
you
what I do is
generally
that see what I do over here is that I try to roll over my transfer. Means if my team is good enough for a particular week,
Mhm.
I don't go in for unnecessary transfer. I try to roll out. I try to save my free transfer so that with two free transfers you can say we can mini overall of the team, mini wildcard you can say in that case.
Okay, so you are somebody who is generally very patient with his players. You do
I
give a
try to be
chance. You
patient. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't give in generally to temptation of taking, if you have nothing to do and you can jump on a player for one particular game week, don't you give in to that and you go for that player, or you're generally
I
patient?
do if I suppose if I'm suppose if wildcarding next week. So for this week, I need to go in for at least one punt transfer. So any one
Okay.
player I will take a punt on. for that particular week.
Okay. So you're kind of dead ending your team before you actually wildcard your
Huh.
team. Right. Barring that, you
There's
don't.
no harm taking a punt.
Okay. But barring that, generally throughout the season, you do not do that.
No, not at the extreme fag end of the season. Only at the fag end when I think I'm lagging behind a lot, I need to take punts to grow up in rank. Then I do take such decisions. At the
How
beginning, I try to
do
avoid taking such decisions.
how do you generally navigate blank game weeks and double game weeks? Do you plan for it for a very long
Yes, I
time,
do plan
or
for it. I do plan for it by saving free transfers and like loading up the blank game week players before means planning in advance about the blank game week.
okay? So does it not bite back a lot of times that people you actually take for blank game week eventually don't end up playing in the blank game week itself? By that time, they're probably out of
It does
favor,
hurt.
or
It does hurt.
okay,
But as I said, FPL is unpredictable. You can't plan. You can FPL doesn't go as per the plan. Whatever you plan, FPL has something else in store for you. So you have to adapt yourself. You have to adapt yourself to all the changes.
okay. So do you believe in the word coverage? So like, do you take if you cannot afford a particular player, do you try to cover that player by taking somebody else from that particular team,
Uh,
or you do not
yes,
believe in
to a
coverage?
certain extent, yes. Like for example, from Chelsea, I wanted a player like who can score, who can give assist or score goals. Like for example, I wanted James, but unfortunately, he got injured. He's not available right now. The other option was Alonso or Chilwell. Alonso was like I'm not sure whether he will start all the games or not. So I went with the safe side. I went with the safe bet in Rudiger. Though he will give me only 6 points, he won't give me a goal or assist. He won't even give me bonus as well. Just for the coverage sake, I went with him.
Okay. So, I mean, like, have you ever gone like coverage wherein you cannot afford a premium player, premium midfielder, or somebody like that,
Mm.
and in place of that, you're trying to cover that with somebody else? Like, suppose if you want to
Yes.
go for probably, let's
It
say,
does happen
Sun.
with City. It does happen with City. I need to have City assets in midfield and forward, but obviously can't afford them because you don't know who's going to keep in the midfield or who's going to start. So better
Absolutely.
prefer we go with the defender then in Dyers.
Okay. So that's how you play coverage, right?
Yeah.
And like, are you somebody who decides your captaincy in advance for certain game weeks, or you go game week as per
Yes,
game
I
week?
do. I do to certain extent. Like for example, the main reason for my bringing in Lukaku for Ronaldo was I'm not going to captain Ronaldo at least for next few game weeks with the fixture runs. But Lukaku is one guy which I'm going to captain for the next 5 to 6 game weeks. I can easily forget the captaincy on him. So that was the main reason for me going for Ronaldo to Lukaku transfer last week.
Speaking of captains, when it is a 50-50 call, when both the captain
Uh,
choices are, supposed to be pretty much high scoring, so how do you make that particular call?
then depends on suppose whether the player is a midfield or a forward. Like for example, if I'm deliberating between Lukaku and Salah, then I will see if both are equal chance of scoring. Salah is a midfielder, so he will give me one extra point for goal and one extra point for clean sheet as well. So I will go for
Okay,
Salah in that case.
okay. So you prefer going for the higher potential, probably if it's a midfielder and a
Yeah,
forward decision,
exactly.
you favor the midfielder.
If
Okay,
both are equal chance of scoring, like I'll check the opponents first. Who are they playing against?
so you'll check which team has the highest chance of scoring more goals. So more
Exactly.
number of goals will be equals to more
If you
number of
compare
involvements.
Lukaku playing against United or Salah playing against Norwich, obviously I will select Salah captaincy over there, even
No,
if both are premium.
I'm talking about what if Salah is playing against Norwich and Lukaku is playing against Newcastle. Then how do you make that decision?
Then in that case, I will check the defense of both the teams in previous like this season itself. How are they How are they coping over there? Which team they are more chance of scoring? I
Okay.
will obviously go for Salah. Salah against Norwich, no brainer for me.
Are you somebody who has captained Salah a lot throughout the past, I think, 3-4 seasons
Yes,
when
I have
Salah
done.
is back in?
Yes.
Okay. So, do you stick to your captaincy to premiums itself, or like, or you do shuffle around?
No, I try to keep it to premium only. Though if you do have Captain Antonio to last week, though everyone has Captain Ronaldo, I was Captain Antonio that week.
Okay. But generally, you do not shy away from captain from a premium. Have you ever captained a defender?
No.
Like you do go to
Uh,
Captain Trent?
unless the defenders are Arnold, I don't think.
Yeah. Trent Alexander-Arnold is actually a very good defender captain choice. Although I have been burned this season, I captained him when he got 1 point against Brentford.
Hard luck then.
So it,
Tough luck for
so
you.
it was an
Brentford,
unfortunate
actually.
cap. Yeah, it was an unfortunate captaincy choice. Okay, Rohit. So we have asked you a lot of questions regarding FPL. I think viewers would have enjoyed me picking your brain. I want to ask you a couple of non-FPL related questions. Uh,
Yeah, please.
one is like you are not that social media wise or digitally. I mean, this is your first appearance anywhere. Why are you not that active
True.
on Twitter, or you are not that generally that active in the Twitter community, as we say?
I can say probably because mainly I'm an introvert person. I don't like to appear in many places at the same time.
Okay.
And socially, I'm not
So,
so active also. Social media, especially.
but do you follow people? Do you
Yes, I
follow
do.
a
I do
lot of
follow,
there's a lot of
but it's just
quality
like
in the community, right?
I don't spend time. Just like one of time in a day, once in a day, or just I just have a look at it, but I don't spend much time on it.
So, what is your like main area of spending your time of doing research, or like for me, I personally follow a lot of Twitter conversations and a lot of threads and
Gotcha.
also how do you go about researching for FPL for
See, I
yourself?
am a part of many WhatsApp groups, like wherein we play competitive games in WhatsApp groups as well as football Facebook groups as well. So,
Okay.
part of many such groups wherein we do all the analysis, like we share the teams with each other, we ask for suggestions if any players are performing well or any injuries concern. We do share on the groups and also we get fair bit of idea from that particular group.
That must be a kind of an elite group in that sense then.
Can
So
say
you
that there are a lot of people better than me. You can say much
yeah,
much
people
better than me.
better than you?
Yeah, of course there are.
That's very hard to imagine. I think
There
you're
are
being
there are.
modest.
No, no, absolutely not. There are many people.
For anybody who wants to follow Rohit, Rohit is also present on Twitter. He goes by the name FPL RJD. So do search for him and do give him a follow on Twitter as well, guys. So moving on,
Thank you
Rohit,
very
we
much.
will now we will actually go on to, and we are lucky that we have you. We'll review the game week that has gone by, which is game week 7. I'll just
Okay.
pull up the fixtures, right? So the first fixture was Manchester United against Everton, and it ended as a 1-1 draw. You being the United fan, why don't you tell us like what you felt about the match watching? What did you think about the game in general, if you have watched the game, that is?
See, I had Ronaldo in my team earlier before that game week.
Okay,
And see, I wanted to get in Lukaku very badly because I know his fixture run is going good from now till 7, 8 game weeks down the line. So eventually I want to get him in. So thought of see, I'm not going to captain Ronaldo either now or any of the other game for our game week. There's no point keeping a 12 million player in your team and not captaining him. So I thought of getting Lukaku for Ronaldo because Lukaku is a standard captain choice for this week against Southampton.
so did you sell
Though it
Ronaldo
failed.
before this game? I mean, before this game week?
Yes, just before this game, I sent Ronaldo for Lukaku.
Okay. So we have heard this kind of saying, or you can say this unsaid rule a lot of time. You do not generally sell a premium when there is a home fixture for that premium, which is comparatively easy. So is it that something that you don't follow that much?
No, I do follow. Actually, the other follow I think I follow is that I never captain an early kickoff fixture. Play from the early
Oh,
kickoff fixture.
okay,
So
that is
that was
another.
supposed to play the first. Yeah, I do
Yeah,
have that myth. Even I follow that myth.
that is
I
another
don't.
golden rule. A lot of us don't follow that. We should be captaining. I do remember a couple of seasons where I used to captain Harry Kane consistently. The Spurs had a lot of first fixtures, and I used to carry captain Harry Kane. But barring that, I also think I generally don't captain uh, teams. But I mean, to sell Ronaldo in a home game against an Everton, who are not exactly, granted they are a good defense,
Yeah,
but
it was a tough decision for me as well. Actually, the thing is that even I was skeptical to sell Ronaldo just before that Everton fixture. But Everton was leaky. They have a leaky defense. Everyone knows that. So, but the thing that came to my mind is that I'm not going to captain Ronaldo in any of the further games. And I want Lukaku very badly, and I don't have any standard option, captaincy option this week. Ronaldo against Everton, I don't want to because it's the first week of the first game week of the fixture. So
okay.
I don't want to captain Ronaldo. Obviously, there's no
So
other choice. There's Antonio, there's Jimenez, but still those are not premium players which I can put my trust on. So sort of going with Lukaku. Was he has
okay.
a because they play with Southampton. Though he was unfortunate to score, but obviously on paper he was the best bet for that particular game.
Okay, wait, just a question for you actually. So, whom are
Yes,
you like? Yeah, just a question for you. Whom are you?
huh?
Whom are you going to captain next week? Because Watford versus Liverpool is the first game.
Uh, Tough question, Madan. I'm yet to get to that now.
Okay, fine.
So
But still, I will go with Salah. I will go with Salah. See, every time we not follow that rule. It depends on the opponent as well. Or Watford is obviously there's no brainer captaining Salah against Watford.
you're not tempted by Spurs against Newcastle?
No, I don't own. First of all, I don't own any Spurs player, so there's nothing to worry for me for that fixture.
Okay.
And I don't trust Spurs to be honest this season. I've seen them play. If they don't look like scoring plenty, they might score one or two goals, but I don't see them scoring like three to four, 5 goals in a particular fixture.
So, but I mean, Sun has been somebody who has been really consistent in that sense. I mean,
He's
whether they have
consistent, but
scored,
he's someone who will give you consistent points. Like will give you a goal match. Okay, find 2 goals, but he won't explode like hat trick or 3, 4 like he did last season. But they're under a different manager now this season, and the manager is more of a defensive kind of manager. That
all right. So, Rohit and as well as Anjan, like, how did you think Manchester United played this particular match? They started off without Ronaldo, and I was when I saw the lineup, I was genuinely expecting that Greenwood would be upfront, but it was not to be. I mean, with all due
Cavani
respect,
started.
yeah, Cavani started. With all due respect, I don't. Sometimes I fail to understand how exactly Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is actually thinking about building a team, announcing the first team. But I found the decision very strange. First of all,
Same
to
year.
not play Ronaldo, and then if you're not playing Ronaldo, then going with the same system and actually playing Cavani, because I think probably playing Greenwood would have been much more effective. Not only that, the decision to actually not play Pogba was also very baffling. You are actually taking out your best goal threat as well as your best creative outlet per se. So Pogba had, I think, 7 assists till now this season, which is the highest. So neither he was playing, neither Ronaldo was playing, and United generally they don't look to be a team who are very consistent, right? I mean, for the people owning Greenwood, I think it's time to sell now. What do you say?
Yes, I do think because Greenwood now, if you look at the stats of Greenwood since the arrival of Ronaldo,
Hmm.
earlier you see, earlier he used to score assists, but right now it's all limited. He's not giving any output in terms of FPL. He might be looking good while playing, but eventually what matters is the FPL output.
Yeah, I think he has been the most affected by actually Ronaldo coming into the team.
Yeah, you can say
Uh,
that.
from the FPL point of perspective, I mean, it also looks on his, it
Even
shows on
to
his.
shocking for me as well, it's not starting Ronaldo and Pogba at the same time by all. It was a terrible decision, I think, for me.
Yeah, and especially like it also shows on Greenwood probably that he is not enjoying the new role. He was pretty much getting to a point where United was building towards something, and he was actually playing up front. And United were towards the end of the last season. Actually, they were very good in counter attacking, where they were scoring a lot of
Hmm.
goals. But
Yeah, that's what I
generally,
think. I think they keep their book also on counter attacking football. rather than playing attacking from the very beginning.
Yeah. So they generally are looking pretty inconsistent. I mean, you cannot pinpoint right now. I mean, it's oddly you cannot even pinpoint United to a home match where you can confidently say that yeah they will be scoring 4 5 goals, barring the absolute dead certain fixtures like Newcastle or
That's
Norwich.
true.
You cannot be calling. So is it time for us, everybody who's holding a Manchester United asset, to sell them?
Yes,
Like
I guess
I'm
right now you can sell them because right now the even if you have a look at the fixtures also, it's not a good, you can say, good run for them fixture wise as well. So you can
okay.
afford to go without United for the time being. Okay, once they get into a kind of form, once they start banging, scoring in goals with the return of Rashford this coming month, they might turn the thing, turn the table. So then you can again get them back if they start performing. Rather you invest your money in some other premiums like Lukaku or even City assets. They have a good fixture run as well. So you can utilize it there.
So speaking about performing badly, I mean conversely, Everton are somebody who even without their talisman players are actually performing exceedingly well. How good have they been? I mean Townsend, all this mid-price, mid-budget midfielders, be it Townsend, be it Dokure, be it Gray. I mean
Great.
they seems to be on a new leash. They are performing exceedingly well. How? What is your view on them?
To be honest, I haven't watched them play much this season because I didn't get much time to watch this season basically Everton games.
Hmm.
But
But
I
are
think
they
they
somebody you're considering or like looking forward to or
right
keeping an eye
now
on?
right now I don't think I can consider anyone because I don't have any spot left for. Obviously, I do want to have Gray or Thomas because they're a budget like enablers. They can say 6.5, 7 million, under 7 million. You're getting a people, but getting a player who can give you assist goals. But thing
They're
is that I have
actually five
other
and a
areas
half.
to look after.
Okay. All right.
I
Moving
But
feel
on
but
to
like
the
obviously they are sorry,
yeah
sorry to interrupt.
no,
no,
I feel like
continue.
yeah, Everton. The time to invest in them has been past. I feel like their fixture stands quite bad right now.
I agree with him. The
Because
fixture run is not so good, and also time has gone. You can't go back and get the point again. No? It's like going after the points. You can say rather than
even,
investing in somewhere where you can get the points.
even with the tough fixtures, they are performing. I mean, they are doing it against United, and I don't know. I mean, probably barring City and Liverpool, they do look like somebody who will be consistently scoring. I mean, at least if you see the squad, it's probably not a good squad, but I think Rafa is managing his team very well. Don't you guys agree?
Yeah,
To some extent,
yeah.
yes, but again, it comes down to whether you're comfortable owning a Everton asset or owning a City asset or some other players who have good fixtures. It comes down to your thing eventually. What you're comfortable with.
Okay. Cool. Moving on. Anjan, why don't you speak to us about the Burnley Norwich game? How did you feel? Did you?
Well, it was a very unexpected game. It felt like a rugby match actually. Lots of cards flying, no goals around.
It
So
was a match of resilience. They don't. Neither of them wanted to lose the match. It seemed.
yeah, yeah, seems like. How did you feel there? How did
I
you
don't know.
feel
I
personally?
generally, personally, I don't like Burnley football wise, obviously, and
Plus one.
I had an expectation with being, the manager's 400th match for Burnley and stuff like that. I felt that they should have probably nicked it, but then again, the good thing to see is Norwich was actually resilient. It is not like the past Norwich who are on a conceding spree. Obviously, they have conceded from the bigger teams, be it the top six or the top eight, but other than that, they don't exactly look like the Norwich which any team can come and actually beat. Which we were actually predicting that they are conceding heavily and we should be targeting Norwich. They don't look like somebody who can be targeted from a mid-priced asset teams. Do you disagree,
Burnley,
Rohit, with that?
No, agree with you, whatever you're saying.
Okay.
So I don't,
Yeah.
honestly, I don't like to watch Burnley match as well. I find it very boring, to be honest.
Any favorite players from Burnley that you like to own? Their defense, probably.
With the defense, me or Tarkovsky.
Me or Tarkowski. You don't go for the fullbacks, Luton or Taylor.
Luton is cheaper, 4.5. Luton, you can try that if you want to ever own one.
Okay. Moving on, why don't Anjan talk about his team, Chelsea against
Uh,
Southampton? It was a very frustrating match for me. Then why don't you take it
oh
up?
my god.
frustrating match. Why in which sense actually?
Who was
Firstly,
the
as a
captain for that
Luka,
week?
yeah. Firstly, as a Lukaku
Lukaku
owner,
captaincy.
it was very frustrating.
Uh,
Secondly, I think Chelsea were actually not winning the match until the red card happened for
yeah,
Ward-Prowse.
yeah,
So
true.
they were drawing the match, and
Yeah,
I
1-1.
understand Southampton is probably a low block kind of a team, wherein it is
No,
difficult for a
no.
free flowing kind of.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, the game changed with red card, no doubt about that. But I feel like introduction of Mason Mount completely changed that game.
True.
Well, like he was like having all those good kind of passes, like going through the midfield and all those stuff. Introduction of Mason Mount in the game particularly changed this match, and also the red card incident.
How did you? I will come back to this match. I want to get Rohit's opinion. How did you feel about this match, considering you also had Lukaku captain?
I was like disappointed because I had gotten Lukaku especially for this fixture to get the points. I was so happy when Ronaldo was benched. In the FPL terms, I was so happy. But I removed him for Ronaldo, Lukaku, sorry. And then coming to this game, then the Lukaku 2-pointer. That too, they considered as well. That means Rudiger also got a blank.
Yeah, it
Uh,
So
feels like a
much,
missed opportunity, to be honest.
exactly.
that particular shot of I don't know, like you guys had seen the match, but that particular shot of Lukaku should have gone. Like it, like came to the bar, then speculator to the bar, then like Chilwell scored.
He even scored an outside goal as well.
Yeah.
But it was unfortunate,
So
and
like,
that would have been perfect goal. Rudiger
yeah,
assist Lukaku goal.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
He
absolutely.
was
Yeah,
offside, and then
yeah,
what I feel generally, I mean, contradictory to you, Rohit, I am somebody who went for Lukaku pretty early. So I am somebody who
okay.
did not go for Ronaldo, and when people were jumping onto Ronaldo, I actually took in Lukaku, looking at the fact that
Hmm.
they have this fixture run, so that then I will be up ahead on teams, but unfortunately in between I took James. Now the thing with Lukaku, as I was saying, I was frustrated about. I feel that somehow the entire team, be it the forward combinations, last match, especially Timo Werner, I think everybody is kind of getting in the way of Lukaku scoring. I mean, the passes are not generally coming to Lukaku, or what is meant to be a shot for Lukaku is being intercepted by somebody else and scored by somebody else. That's why I'm frustrated. I don't feel.
I get your point. I agree with you. The thing is that what I have understood or what I have noticed is that for Lukaku, the two important factors are James and Mount. These two players are the ones who is impacting the Lukaku most right now. The absence are impacting him. But
To
both
some
are good.
extent, Kovacic as well, I think, to some extent.
No, James, because James he puts in a lot of crosses. He puts in good crosses in the box. And
Yeah.
Lukaku is one who can take advantage of that. Alonso is not a
Yeah,
good crosser.
true.
Chilwell, I don't know how good crosser he is, but I'm not seeing him play much again with Lukaku.
I think he's a
But
better
James
crosser
was
than
a,
Alonso. Chilwell.
of course he is. But James is a hell of a good crosser, so Lukaku can take advantage of this crosses. And Mount play, everyone knows Mount play, attacking play. Lukaku will benefit from his attacking play. But those two people absence are missing Lukaku the most actually right now.
Okay.
And hopefully
Any
once
of
they're back after international break, so the points will also come by then.
you guys looking to captain Lukaku against Brentford?
Might depending on the news of once if Mount and Reed James both are fit, then can give it a look you can say.
Okay. Anjan, how about
Only
you?
if
Are
both
you
of them are
looking to
fit to
captain?
start.
Well, no, I don't feel like Chelsea have that ceiling kind of like 4 or 5 goals in a match. They have like consistently 2 goals, 3 goals kind of match. I don't feel like Chelsea would score 4 or 5 goals pretty soon. So I don't.
Probably might be the Norwich game, but as I also reiterated the same thing in the last pod
I
as well. I feel their ceiling and
I
their floor both is 2 3 goals. I don't see them going
yeah,
past that ever.
yeah, completely true about that. And moreover, like lots of players are scoring goals already. Like almost like Chalova is scoring. Like Rudiger scored previously. Chilwell now scored. Kovacic scored. Now Timo Werner is also scoring. So we have like Kai. We have like Kai Havertz yet to score. Pulisic yet to score. So like we have like lot of options actually. So it is not completely like Lukaku based team. So we would be having a lot of goal scorer here and there. So I don't feel completely comfortable captaining him against Brentford
Which is why
especially.
it is very frustrating. I mean, if we can't captain a premium player, I agree. Brentford
Yeah.
probably is a very good team. Brentford is not probably the best opponent to captain somebody against right now. From what we have seen, how
And
we have
they're in
seen
good
them
form as
play.
well right now.
Yeah, they're very good form as well. They look a very well drilled team, well oiled team, and they most importantly, I think they look comfortable. They don't look out of the place in Premier League from Championship. They
Yeah.
look like they are here to stay kind of a team. So I understand about this fixture, but it is generally frustrating if you are owning such a premium player and if you are having doubts before captaining against Norwich or Newcastle. I mean, and the goals will be distributed because Lukaku, we had this image, right, where from Syria that he is involved in the goal as well as the assists, which is not actually coming out to be true as of now. Hopefully, it does change. Your feelings
It will change.
about
That's the beginning. Let all the players come back from injury. It will change. I do think it will change.
what are your thoughts about Timo Werner, Rohit? Do you like Timo Werner?
Like not really, but he's been getting a lot of chances right now. Miss, I heard that manager's statement as well that he wants to play both Kaku and Timo Werner together. He's finding ways to accommodate both together. So I don't know whether
Yeah.
it's good or bad for Lukaku owners, but then that means the chances will
No,
be shared.
no.
As of
Actually,
now, it does
like
not look good for Lukaku owners.
no, 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 no,
That's
no,
what.
no. No, I like completely disagree with that. It will be very good for him. This because Timo Werner would always have those kind of runs in the box. So like he would he would definitely create space for someone else. So like it would come eventually good for him.
Just pause for a second.
Pardon?
Okay, moving on to Leeds and Watford. We'll quickly cover the rest of the fixtures. So, Rafinha did not deliver for people. It was probably not the match that everybody was expecting. Anjan can actually state, being a Sar and Rafinha owner, how did you feel? How did the match go?
Frustrated actually. Very much frustrated. I just expected lots of goals in this match. I thought it to be a 2-2 kind of match, and being a Rafinha and Sardona, it was completely frustrating for me. So it's okay.
How about you, Rohit? You are
Same what
somebody.
he said. Even I am a double owner of this Rafinha and Sar owner. So absolutely
Yeah.
disgusted you can say after that match because I was even same. I was actually expecting a lot of goals from that match. Too.
Mm.
Sar and
Mm,
Rafinha both coming off from a very good fixture previous game, both coming off from a goal. expect them to score at least 4 or 6. Didn't go as per plan.
I think the time for Sar is over now.
Yeah,
Rafinha
I
is still
think so
yeah,
doing.
because
yeah,
the fixture is also changing for the worse.
yeah.
Yeah, and plus now have manager sacked. Ranieri is coming back into the Premier League.
Uh,
We all know
Mm.
he's a bit of a defensive-minded manager in that sense. Probably, yeah, he's somebody who supports the talisman theory to a lot. So probably that might be beneficial for Sar. But generally, the fixtures are not there to support Sar in that sense. Going forward, they are pretty hard going forward, right?
yeah, agree with you. But right now, if you don't have any pressing concerns elsewhere, then you can look forward to replace.
True. Rafinha is definitely a hold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. How
the
about
fixture is
Bamford?
good, still good.
Bamford comes into consideration. He'll be fit from the next game week. Is he somebody you guys
No,
are looking forward to?
Bamford is fit for next game week.
Yes, he is. He was supposed
Probably
to
he
work
will
for
be.
3 weeks, but he might be back after international break.
He's supposed to
Okay.
be probably back by international break. Okay,
But
moving
right now the
on.
options are limited. Already have limited options in attack. We already have Antonio. We have Lukaku. Then Jimenez is there.
So
Obviously, we
there's
won't remove any of these for
no
Bamford. There's no
position
place.
for him.
No place for him, we can say right now.
There can be a discussion being made whether it is time to let go of Antonio as well, but we'll be coming to that when once we cover West Ham. Moving on, the next fixture is obviously Rohit will be the best person to take this. It was
Mm.
Wolves against Newcastle. 2-1, two Jimenez assists, two Hong goals, one Saint Maximin assist. How did you see this match?
And that was unfortunate goal to concede by Sa. He slipped.
Yeah, he slipped. He actually, I think he got knocked on the shoulder and it was a long
Yeah,
distance shot.
exactly. It was unfortunate to concede. Otherwise, it would have been a very good, we can say, double defense.
Yeah, it would have been a double difference. But they do have good stats, but generally you don't feel that this is the Wolves of yesteryear where probably they are playing like a Nuno kind of a system. They're playing for a 1-0 or something like that. They are going for a
See,
lot of
now they
goals
are under a
and
new manager right now, so they will take time to click basically. And I think they're
but
doing good. If you check the numbers also, they are having good numbers. It's just that they have been
yeah,
unfortunate in terms of results.
but barring the numbers, by generally seeing them, do you feel like they are much concerned about keeping a clean sheet? I don't feel like that. I think they are more concerned about scoring as many goals as they can rather than keeping a clean sheet. So
See, if you take the results also, they're not lost by 2, 3 goal margin. They're lost by
yeah,
single goal
absolutely.
margin in all the games. So you can't say they're not looking after clean sheet. Okay, they might not be so tight at the back, but it's not that they are lacking in that department.
They are absolutely very organized in the back. What I'm trying to say is probably their priority is not actually keeping a clean sheet. Their priority is probably winning the match.
And
I
that
mean,
should be the goal of every manager, in fact, of every team to win the match. You can't play for a draw, obviously.
yeah, but
But if you look at the stats of Jimenez, he's been having good stats from the very beginning, for the very first game which he played. But unfortunately, he didn't have any points to show for his good stats. And
absolutely.
recently he is getting points as well. He's getting goals, getting assists.
And like
True.
one more thing, like what do you think of this guy Huang actually?
Huang, it can be short-term enabler because he is very much cheaper than Jimenez.
Mm.
But if you ask me who you want to own, if you want to own any one of the assets, any one of the forward, I would go for Jimenez because he has a good start so far. He's been having good record. Means he is a penalty taker of the team. If any penalty comes their way, he is the first person to take the penalty. I just had
Yeah,
an advantage of owning him.
he is basically the talisman for that particular team. But
Yeah,
if
exactly.
yeah, if Huang is somebody who is assured of game time, I think a case
So
can
you
be
can
made for
double up.
him. Yeah,
You can double
uh,
up because you can easily double up and get Lukaku as a third one.
true.
But
So
if I want to choose
you
anyone, I
do
would go for Jimenez.
prioritize. Yeah, you do prioritize
Yes,
Jimenez because he'll be more involved.
yeah,
Absolutely, I
exactly.
do agree. I do agree.
See, one might convert the chances, but the chances will be created by Jimenez. If you look at his XA also, it is much superior to what Wang was having in the last 2 weeks. He started.
True. Jimenez is somebody who's ever present. I mean, he will be around the Wolves
Exactly.
scoring.
He will
He will
create.
be
He will
around.
create. He will score.
He will
He
be
will be
just
all
outside the
over the team.
box somewhere. Yeah. So there's
Exactly.
it's
And
a
if a
no.
penalty comes, he will be the first person to take the penalty as well.
If you are attempting for to answer what Anjan said, I think if you are attempting to build a premium midfield kind of a situation, and if you feel that that particular compromise might help you achieve that, then I think yeah, it is probably
Then might
comparable, but definitely Jimenez is a better option any day.
exactly any day.
Huang might be blanking, but Jimenez is somebody who's generally very consistent, be it assist, be
See,
it
the
goal.
thing with owning Wang over Jimenez is if you are owning Jimenez, this is a downgrade from Jimenez to other striker. You
True.
can easily get Bamford or you can easily get another striker, Antonio or any other striker in that range.
Yeah, the price point is also
If you have
important.
Wang, exactly. If you have Wang, then difficult to upgrade or get a striker the same price range.
Yeah, you're kind of getting stuck or you're preparing for a hit in that sense.
Yeah, then you need to do then you need to do two transfers to move that person, move that player out.
Okay. So
That
we
also
are
need to take
understanding
into
as
account.
to what is the thought process as to how a premium manager plays, because we don't take all this into consideration. We just see the immediate benefit. He's looking after the long term, wherein he's planning, he's thinking that yeah, it's
So
true.
you
If
don't
you
play
want to,
for 1 week, you play for 38 weeks, right?
absolutely, I do agree. Moving on, the next match. This was one of the only matches probably to provide any kind of clean sheet to the FPL community in general. Was Brighton against Arsenal. It was a disappointing match, particularly for Arsenal, especially after the North London derby. We were sluggish in attack in that sense. We did not take our chances that much. Brighton were probably the more attacking out of the two. But yeah, it was probably as expected. I think there's nothing much to say in this match. Anything you guys want to add? Special thing that you noticed? Any player to target? I think Kukurella is a
I
very good
think
option. I think from Brighton defense, if somebody is looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, but like right now, by this time, right now, most of the people would be having Brighton either a defender or a goalkeeper. So, and Brighton fixtures would turn stiff after a few weeks. So, I
After
don't
this
feel
week, I
like,
mean, this week they have Norwich. After that,
so.
I think they will have
So you
Liverpool
would
and Man
see more
City.
people removing Brighton assets from the wildcard team.
yeah.
But the fixtures are
True.
turning for the bad, you can say.
Yeah, to
So,
cover that,
like,
actually, I took a hit. So I removed Sanchez last game week and I took Ramsdale. But I think it's for a longer term. I'll be keeping Ramsdale.
Exactly.
But I don't think I'll be selling Duffy. I got Duffy at 4 and I intend on keeping
So
him.
Duffy is a season keeper if it's because it's 4.1, nothing to lose at 4.1.
Yeah,
Even
absolutely.
if you can have him on the bench, you can have him in the reserve, doing nothing else also.
I think
He's
he's
not
a
going to
better
harm you
option
much.
personally. I feel than Livramento. I might be defying many people. I understand Livramento plays upfront, but I think Duffy's goal threat is much more superior to Livramento's personally.
I still remember the season couple of years back when I had owned Duffy, Dunk. I even captained Duffy for the double game week.
Yeah, and they all gave
Supposed to
112.
be Yeah,
uh,
it
uh,
was supposed to
I
be
do.
a easy 12 points to 24 points in total. Eventually ended up with only 2 points.
and no,
So
like
disaster.
yeah, like the point you said, you won't be selling him. It's completely fine. He can be a bench player, but you can't say like which game he will score, and like in that particular game, would you play him or like he will come from the bench? So like it's a like completely waste. I think in your bench.
See, but at 4.1 you have nothing to lose. You don't
Yeah,
have anything. You
Yeah,
can
but
get
the
but
point
4.1 there's no other player who's guaranteed to start every week. He is the
exactly.
only player who's guaranteed to start every week along with Livramento.
mm,
So
And you can
there's no
yes,
harm in keeping that.
actually you can make your peace with the fact that he is your bench player, but
Yeah,
when
exactly. He's a bench
required
fodder, you can say.
when required, he is a more than apt cover up for anybody not playing, because as you
Yeah.
already mentioned, Duffy is somebody who can score in any game week against any team.
mm, Yeah.
So he is probably one of the most apt bench substitute to come in. I think I have bought Duffy twice this season, and both of the times he has come up with a clean sheet, which is very surprising to me. I did not play him, but I got the player. So yeah,
I had him on bench. I had him as first sub this week. 7 points on
yeah,
first sub.
me too. Had I known, and I should have known with my luck with Shaw, is a player I'm
Uh,
not buying any time ever again soon. He has burned me twice, 2 seasons in a row.
no, he was good. He was good last season. He used to give points, but this season
He was
they're letting go. They're letting goals.
He
he
was
was not
good
good for
towards
me.
the good.
He was not good for me last season as well. When I took him, I had him for the first 6 or 7 game weeks. He gave me a net total of -1 point in those
Oh,
7 or 6
that's
game
bad.
weeks. And then he exploded when I actually did not have him. So yeah, if anybody is looking to get Shaw, I would be looking to sell him. You can get him now. Moving on to Crystal Palace against Leicester, it was a very exciting match. I think
It was
Palace was the better team over here, even though the results reflect it as a
initially they
draw.
were, but the result doesn't show that.
Yeah, I don't know. I generally I'm somebody actually I had actually missed the Leicester season when in which Leicester won the championship. I was out of touch with FPL for that particular year. I did not follow Leicester that much. I generally have never been a very big fan of Leicester, to be very honest. And especially when I watched, they have given very good FPL options over the runs, when, especially when Mahrez was there. I used to own Mahrez a
Chilwell.
lot, Chilwell as well, and then Vardy at times. But this season, particularly, I think it is very difficult. Although Vardy is constantly ticking, I think it is very difficult to predict how or when or what kind of game exactly Leicester is playing. I mean, it's baffling Iheanacho is not playing after last season's performance, and I have no
But
reason
right
as
now, I
to.
guess he would play because I guess Wadi is injured. I guess I'm not sure about it, but I do think is it.
Vardy, I think, will be. It's not a serious injury. He will be recovering after the
But
international
Nacho
break.
should start. But Nacho should start. They also signed a new striker as well, along with Daka, the new striker.
Yeah, they have got Patson Daka.
Excellent.
Uh,
Um,
then
they got
Samore in the midfield.
they have got Lookman. I don't know exactly how they are planning. They're still playing with Barnes. Nacho is not playing. Vardy is
So
consistently ticking.
last match they started with Lukman, Nacho, and Wadi all three together, and they scored.
Va-
They did
Vardy
well.
only had 10 touches of the football in that entire match against Crystal Palace. He still managed to score in one of those,
Yeah, that's he's
but
been
then
lucky, you
again,
can say.
yeah, he's not lucky. I mean, I think it is designed as to that's how they will play. It's like
Yeah,
they are only willing to counter attack. They don't look like a team who is a team playing in the Europe who will be dominating the so-called smaller teams. I think when I say Palace were the better team, I think Palace look the much superior team probably who are in Europe, and they are actually playing and they have that spirit. They came back from 2-0 down basically, and
hmm.
they have signed very good players. Are you interested by any Palace players in that sense? They are scoring in every match.
To be honest, I haven't watched them play much, so that's why I'm not so keen about them. Let's see down the line if they at all there's an interesting option coming up from them.
I think Gallagher is a very good option
Gallagher is one
as
option.
we have shared.
And
I think Olis will become a very good option if once
yeah,
he
exactly.
nails down the place. I just looked at the guy. It was his first sub appearance or not. He looked. I mean, obviously Edward also scored when he came for Palace as a sub, but there is something about Olis, and I've heard about Olis a lot last season as well in the championship. So yeah, he is somebody
Okay.
he looks to be interesting. Somebody to probably be monitored.
Yes, probably
Next,
might be to one to look at.
yeah, next down we come down to your favorite team, Rohit. Spurs against Aston Villa. How did you
Oh,
watch the
not my
match?
favorite team. Not my favorite team at all.
Yeah,
I have
your
been burned
love.
by them last season. Both Son and Kane. Burned by both.
Did you own them
The
incidentally in the first 6 game weeks?
I owned him. I owned Son in the first two game weeks. I removed him. The next game he banged 4 goals, and Kane gave 4 assists. I was that disgusted, and that immediately that was like turning point. You can say starting point of my disaster. I can say.
Yeah, absolutely. I can relate to. I'm one of those people who did not jump on the Sun and scare, and that pretty much basically defined the last season.
And I was like I was hesitant to take them back because I thought I sold them. I don't want them back now. Was so much stubborn to get them back immediately. And that costed me big time.
Yeah, it is like I will not take. The boat has
Yeah,
sailed. Kind.
exactly. And then it never stopped.
Regarding this particular match, I feel generally, I think watching the match, Sun was absolutely very good. He's as consistent as
No
ever.
doubt.
He's becoming the talisman for Spurs. But in saying all this, I think Harry Kane generally had a better match than what he had in the last past 6 matches. He looked much more livelier. I understand he did not score anything, but he was present. He was taking shots. He was there in the box. Something to monitor. Spurs have very really good fixtures. I think they have one of the best fixtures this game week, along with Liverpool. It's sad that I don't think any of us own any Spurs asset, but their fixture is something that is really tempting. They do play against Newcastle.
Yeah,
Something
but
to
would you depend on Spurs? That's the question. When
I
Spurs
think
are the team which you won't see them scoring like goals for fun, like 3, 4 goals or in a match. They would win one or by 2 goals max. I don't see them scoring for fun, like 4, 5 goals, wherein you can take both Son and Keane at those prices.
I
No,
think
uh, no,
particularly from game
no.
week 12 onwards, their fixture run for the next from 12, 13, 14 is Leeds at home, Burnley away, Norwich at home. So I think that particular run is something that can be targeted, and I do see them scoring some amount of goal because I don't see Sun being a very selfish player. I don't see him generally being satisfied with one goal. It's just that the system is
Actually,
probably not favoring that. But don't you think that they will be going for those in those matches against Leeds and Norwich?
actually,
I guess Anjana is something. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, if like Spurs are scoring 1 or 2 goals also, uh, Son or Kane should be involved in like 80 to 90% of that
But
particular goal.
would you spend 22 million on a single team player for just 1 or 2 goals?
No, no, no.
probably
I
not
feel
a
like
double up. Take a single player. I
but,
mean, probably even if we don't double up, even if we take one player from that
No,
team.
single player is obviously a choice. See, what I suggest you think is that you can have any one of Son or Kane, and along with the defender, you can go with that combination.
defense, I don't feel like they are anymore a very pretty tight defense. Those matches, Spurs in the first 3 matches, which they kept three consistently clean sheet also, but like overall their stat wise also they
They
weren't
should
good
not
that
have
much.
kept the clean sheet.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have kept the
See,
clean
like,
sheet. And I generally feel that they are not a team that is very tight. I mean, I feel that they keep clean sheet because Loris is exceptional on that particular day. If Loris is not exceptional, they don't keep that clean sheet. It's not because of due to the defense. I mean, I would say I might be overstating, but I feel that Arsenal's defense is better than Spurs' defense generally, defense-wise.
but there are other
I
options too coming up. Like for example, if we see City fixtures, they also have good fixtures coming up. City
Mm.
and with Chelsea also, Mount is also can be an option if you want a Mount Chelsea midfielder.
do you see Mount as an
Yeah.
option? Genuinely?
Yeah, if we start playing
Okay,
every single
let
game,
me
we
put it this
can
way: would you take Mount over a Chelsea defender? Because that's the question for people:
uh,
the double defense or and Lukaku or double attacker and one defense. So would you take Mount over Chelsea defender?
so personally I will take double defense of Chelsea because I feel Chelsea is much stronger in defense compared to attack creating chances.
True. I mean, I also feel the same. I right now there's a dearth for actually mid-price midfielders. It's either the very
Hmm.
low-end midfielders who are performing, or it's Salah. But
Exactly.
I
Or you have
think
premium one.
Yeah, and I think people who are wildcarding probably are setting up their team in that sense, but I think it will be something that will affect because these midfielders will become an option. I mean, you never know. Probably suddenly a Pulisic becomes an option. Suddenly, City midfielders they will become an option eventually. Not suddenly. I mean, they will gradually become an option.
That you
So
definitely is.
I
Foden,
don't know.
that fixture are too
Uh,
good to ignore.
I like City features are pretty good right now. So like City
Yeah,
midfielder definitely an option. But like the problem is that
nailing
you
them down. Who
exactly
will
don't know.
start? Who will
Yeah,
you
start?
don't know who Pep will start.
yeah.
You can't
True.
That
trust
is
Pep.
the main issue
Who will
with them.
start?
Yeah. That's
Grealish, I
that.
think.
That
Yeah,
is where Duffy comes in, my friend. That's why you should
yeah,
have Duffy
true.
first sub.
A safety pin, you can say,
Exactly.
Duffy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a safety.
Safety net, you
Uh,
can.
yeah, next match, West Ham against Brentford. I think West Ham were actually very unlucky to lose this match. They lost it. They conceded the second goal at the very fag end of the match,
Yeah.
probably. Very evenly placed. The only thing, I mean, again, reiterating, Brentford are not pushovers by any stance. They have that fighting spirit,
They are
and
here to stay.
they are here to stay. They're going for it. Generally, you are impressed by Tony, Rohit,
Yeah.
Tony, most of I don't know how to pronounce that guy's name.
Embuemo.
Yeah, Mbo, yeah.
So you're
I'm more
more
impressed by
so
him.
impressed by Embuemo. Okay,
Yeah.
right. He's probably the most advanced of all the Brentford
And that too, he
attackers.
being a midfielder, he being a midfielder in FPL.
Yeah, he's being a midfielder. He's very cheap. He takes set pieces as well. His free kicks.
Exactly.
I have seen actually two free kicks of his this season who have just hit the bar. So yeah, it will go in sometime soon.
So
Definitely.
he's an option which you can consider on wildcard. It's a wildcard, one of the options.
True, and their fixtures from game week 9 is amazing. Starting with
Yeah.
Leicester and the run just goes on. Uh, do you think it's time to get rid of our West Ham assets?
Asset, if you're owning two, then yes. If you're owning only one, which is Antonio, you can give it a more one or two game with for him
Okay.
because you
So
don't have
for
any clear-cut choice of replacement for him unless you have don't have Jimenez
I
or you
think
don't have Bamford just
r-
coming back from India. You can't rely on him right now.
right now the move from probably Antonio to Jimenez or Antonio to even an Adam Armstrong, I think it's not a bad option considering Southampton's fixtures are also
See,
very good.
Adam Armstrong is looking good, but you need to observe him for this couple of more weeks. He needs to produce points. Then only you can take him. Now.
True,
His fixture is
but
running for good, but still, he's just
if
another quantity in
somebody, it is a
FPL
question of
Premier League.
getting Jimenez, then would you suggest people to sell Antonio right now?
It's a tough question, but if it's for a free, then I don't think that. I think that can be done. Getting Jimenez because Jimenez is in. I've been watching him play Jimenez, but I've been impressed by his stats. Basically, the work ethic he's portraying around, especially after coming back from such a horror injury last season.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's absolutely kudos to him. He needed to get that
Yeah,
first goal, and I think yeah, the points will roll from here onwards.
yeah, and last match also he was unfortunate not to give more points. He was destined for more points actually. They said he was unfortunate.
True. Speaking about the last blockbuster match of the game week, which was Liverpool against Man City, a
Oh my God.
splendid genius performance and a splendid solo goal from Mo Salah. How did you guys feel about this match? I felt City should have won this match. They squandered their chance of winning this match in the first half. They should have
True.
scored in the first half. I mean, they were the better team. I actually started following this match from the second half. Watched the highlight later for the first half. I was hearing a lot of rave reviews about how City are good in the first half, and second half the match was something else totally. It was amazing to watch. Any takeaways from this particular match? How did you feel? Any City? Who would you be rather going for? Who would you suggest people to go for from City?
In attack, I would go for Foden. Simple.
Yeah.
In
Do you
defense,
see him
there's a
starting?
toss between. I think he should start. I
I
think yes,
feel
he
so
will
too.
start. Foden and Jesus as well to a certain extent because Jesus is playing as a winger right now. He's playing on the right side of the wing.
I think he is not that accessible to get for the same reason that you pointed out. I think don't nobody will sacrifice either Lukaku or Jimenez
Yeah.
or
So I think
nobody will
Foden
be
is the
get.
best bet you can say, considering he's a mid as well. So he's the best bet I feel. I feel.
And
Okay.
what are your thoughts about KDB?
KDB, I am yet to see him in full rhythm. Means in full rhythm. Basically, I'm yet to see the old KDB after injury. He's yet to get back to full match fitness and full, you can say, match presence. He's yet to utilize himself to the fullest. I
He
don't think
he's
he's back yet.
he's not probably the fittest player right now who gets injured a lot. So I think his times and everything will be managed a lot.
And he's yet to get
He
back to his old
yeah.
times, like how he used to play before, how he used to create and come up with the goods earlier.
He's somebody who will definitely explode. I feel at in these game weeks, but it is very hard to predict which particular game week will that be. It all
Exactly.
depends a lot on how if he starts or not and what all happens.
So if you
Uh,
need to start any, if you need to own any city player, I would feel in attack you would go for Foden. The best bet is
yeah,
obviously the defense of City,
we
either
will
Cancelo
be
or Dias or both.
we'll be getting on to the wildcard section. Before that, Rohit, I just want to pose you one small question.
Yes,
If you were to put on spot right now, given a choice between Foden and Son, who would you take?
for Foden,
Considering one is Son from Spurs,
I would go for Foden.
even with the uncertainty whether he starts, Son is absolutely nailed in that sense.
Yes, higher. It's like higher risk, higher reward. Foden is not so heavily owned, so even a single goal from Foden will take me to great rank. You can say increasing my rank.
Okay.
And honestly, I don't trust Spurs to be honest. I don't trust them much.
You have absolutely an agenda against Spurs.
No, actually, the matches were defensive. I don't see them scoring for fun this season, like they used to do last season. So don't see them scoring much.
Okay, unfortunately, I think we have lost Anjan. But
Oh, is it?
nonetheless, we'll be moving on to the next segment, which is wildcard. Wildcard this particular week, as Anjan also already mentioned, Rohit, he is wildcarding. So
Yeah.
I will, since he's not there, I will read out his team, and we can probably dissect the wildcard together. And he might be listening later too in the pod. He has gone for a 4.5 million defender, goalkeeper. Sorry, so he has gone for Ramsdale as well as Angus Gunn. In defense, right now his template shows that he has James Chilwell, so double Chelsea defense. He has Laporte and Cancelo, double City defense, and he has gone along with Livramento as his fodder, bench fodder option, the cheap defender. In midfield, he has gone for Son, Rafinha, Salah, and Foden, and he has gone for a 4.5 million midfielder in Douglas Luiz. In
Okay.
forward, he has gone for Aubameyang, Antonio, and Hee-chan Huang. So,
So
how do you feel about his team?
I
Firstly,
feel it's a bit punty, I would say,
it's a bit punty.
especially
So,
yeah, especially the Aubameyang pick
okay.
over
So,
Lukaku.
like, yeah, I mean, the Aubameyang pick is actually even strange for me because considering that Saka and Smith Rowe, they're all considerably cheaper than Aubameyang, and they're also playing in the fund
Yeah.
league. I think they will probably be becoming a better option. So, what will you exactly change? I think you've already stated that you're not a fan of Sun. So he has got Sun and he has got Aubameyang.
No, it's
So
okay. Sun, it's okay because Sun is thinking about the option. Okay, he's having good pictures, so if he feels it's obviously well, it all depends upon one's own gut feel. If he feels Sun will come good. There's no point. There's no harm in that. So what I
so
would like to change, I would like to change Aubameyang to Lukaku. The one thing which I would like him to change.
And how
I
would you
would
facilitate
suggest.
that? Because he has Hee Chan Hwang as his third forward, so there's no budget over there. And then he has
How much is
Antonio.
Aubameyang?
Aubameyang is 9.9 right now.
Acha, and Lukaku is 11.67, I guess.
Lukaku is 11.7 right now. So that will
In
cost him
defense,
around
he can.
1.8.
The only thing I can see is downgrading Son. No other thing I can see over there. Or he can downgrade the defense. He's having two Chelsea and City. How much? Only Dias or Cancelo? Both he's having.
No, he has gone for Laporte and Cancelo.
Acha, so he can downgrade one over there.
So
He can get White for
let
anyone.
me put you. I mean, let me make this a macro discussion, not just limited to Anjan's team. So a lot of people
Uh,
who are wildcarding who are in a similar position. So if it is to be prioritized, as we can see that probably if we are going for double Chelsea as well as double City defense, the end product is probably not as balanced as it should be. So which will
hmm.
you prioritize? If you were to choose, will you go for a double Chelsea defense or will you go for a double City defense right now? If you can only choose one.
uh, Actually, I would go for double City to double Chelsea.
Okay. So the reason being that obviously City are a much supreme defense than Chelsea.
Yes, they have City defense. I trust more than Chelsea.
Okay.
In
And
fact, I will have try to have both double each City and Chelsea.
yeah, I mean
But given
that
a
is
choice,
obviously ideal. Yeah,
yeah,
but given a choice, then it will
I will go
be
for City
double
double.
Chelsea, City double up, and you will double up with which defenders per se?
See, Dias and Cancelo both. I'll have try to have
Why
Diaz and
not?
Cancelo.
I mean, Cancelo, I understand, but why not probably a Walker in place of Cancelo? Sorry, in place of
See,
Diaz.
Walker because Cancelo anyways I have as a wing back as a full back,
Fullback.
so he
Yeah.
can cover that. And Walker, I have not seen him produce point like FPL points consistently, attacking FPL points. Okay, clean sheet early give, but it also tend to be sub at the early, like 45 minutes after 45 minutes. If you look at past season, he's more likely to get subbed at 45 minutes after interval half time.
Okay. So
Because
Diaz is somebody
someone
who
who will
is
there's someone
confirmed.
who play the full match and he will play each and every match he'll play. He won't be rested. He won't be rotated, sorry. He might be rested, but he won't be rotated for sure. Laporte and Stones might, you can say, share games.
Yeah,
But
they
when
will be
Stones is
interchanging
fit,
amongst themselves.
yeah. Diaz is one person who won't be rotated much. And Cancelo, because since Zinchenko is injured, so Cancelo has a high chance of playing all the matches.
True. Uh, Again, I mean, I know you own Rudiger right now. Even I own Rudiger in my team. But if you had to go
Hmm.
right now, if you were wildcarding right now, and if you could only take one Chelsea defender, who would you have gone for?
Chilwell. If James is
Sorry.
not fit, if James is fit, obviously James. If James is the first choice, if James is injured, then Chilwell. I would go for the fullback, James or Chilwell, or both if possible.
Would you be going for Chilwell, knowing that Alonso might be in the wings to come back?
No, I have seen Alonso. I guess he has lost his place now because he was poor last couple of games for Chelsea. And Chilwell has been he utilized his chance. He you can say he took advantage of the chances which has given to him. And I guess he is back now. Chilwell will be the first person. I guess he'll take over from Alonso right now.
Okay. So I also feel that I mean, although I've already been burned this season by James, I took James pretty early. He got the red card. No, I think he missed the match against
Hmm.
Villa, and then the next match he was sub pretty early.
He
So I
was
have been,
injured.
yeah, he was injured, and I had to transfer him out. But given a choice again, I would take James over all the City, or rather all the Chelsea defenders. So let me put it in this way: if somebody owns a Cancelo and somebody, let's say they own a Rudiger, and as you said that you'll probably be going for double City defense.
City.
So yeah, so don't you think James is a better option than a Diaz with point 0.6
It
lesser?
is. It is. But then you are subject to this rotation. Diaz won't be rotated. James would be.
But I think Cancelo and Rudiger are pretty much nailed, right? So that one rotation can be
See,
written out from the bench.
Cancelo is not pretty much nailed. Cancelo might be rotated here and there. One or two games he might be rotated.
Do you see him
That
being
that
rotated?
that time your Duffy will come into the picture.
Okay. Do you see him being rotated considering Mendy is not available any longer and Zinchenko is pretty much out of favor? I think he pretty much
Zinchenko is
sucks.
injured. That's why initially Zinchenko started the initial matches when he was fit. Since
He did not
Zinchenko was
start any
injured,
match this season.
Zinchenko did start, I guess.
No.
I think he did start the initial matches.
Okay. Let me check this quickly. I personally don't think Zinchenko
Might
has
not
started
be
any.
the same. Might be Cancelo might have started the other wing, but Zinchenko I did he did start.
He played the first match 11 minutes and he played the Arsenal match for 45 minutes. That's it. He did not start any
I
match
saw him
as
playing.
such.
That's what I saw him playing. But you
Yeah.
never he might be rotated once or twice. Means he obviously the first choice, but there are like three players vying for two spots: Walker, Cancelo, Zinchenko. See, Cancelo
True.
can play both the wings, right or left. He can play at both the wings, both the sides.
Okay.
And
Moving
Diaz
on.
is the one person who is nailed.
Yeah. So, like as you said that you don't like Aubameyang as an option. So, suppose
Uh,
somebody wants to go with a similar kind of setup as to how Anjan has gone, and they have gone big in midfield. He has got
okay.
Salah, he has got Foden, he has got Rafinha, he's got Son, which is a pretty good midfield to be honest. So, would you advocate like if somebody cannot go for Lukaku, they go for Vardy? Is Vardy somebody who you would consider in wildcard, considering he's taking
Vardy
consistently?
can be thought of since the fixture and they also have a good fixture, Leicester.
Yeah,
But
they have a medium fixture, but whatever Leicester does, pretty much Vardy is involved.
Vardy is the focal point of the attack, you can say.
Absolutely.
Whatever comes, it goes from Vardy, comes from Vardy only. But then Vardy is like he will be like off the complete for 90 minutes. He will like 85 minutes. You won't find him at all. Then with
Yeah,
1 minute he can score a goal. You don't know that. You
true,
can't
true,
predict
true.
it. Obviously, you can't rely on that. But I would prefer. You can say if you can't afford Lukaku or Aubameyang, I want to say you can downgrade Antonio to maybe Tony or the striker. For example, there's also Adam Armstrong if you are saying to consider
True.
the low price striker. You can upgrade. Then you can upgrade Aubameyang to other striker probably.
So for
Lukaku.
you, right now, Lukaku is a must-have if you're going for wildcard.
Yeah, for me, the must have because especially with the fixture, we can't do too hot to ignore. You can say.
Okay.
Okay, he might not produce in all the matches, but still, it's very dangerous to go without him, especially for your rank. One Lukaku goal can kill your rank basically if you don't own him. Because he will be
So
heavily owned, especially because many people will be on a wildcard right now.
absolutely. So yeah, he will be heavily captained as well. I'm sure from
Exactly.
especially against Norwich and all, he will be definitely captained as well. He has got Rafinha and Salah, so they are obviously a no-brainer. They should be in
No,
wildcard,
but they need to
as
be
we have
there.
all. Yeah, he has taken Son and Foden. So Son probably is somebody who is certain in the team, and we cannot deny that he's ever present and ever involved in whatever Spurs do. So right now he's got Foden and he has got Huang. So those are
See,
like probably
he can take a punt now because okay, fine, he is wildcarding. He can go with the same team for one next two game weeks. Then he can evaluate whether his Aubameyang punt is working or not. If he is giving returns, then well and good. Then he is basically done a good job there. His gut feel, he is going to
true.
go good with his gut feel. If you
Are you
blank, then you can think of replacing them.
yeah? Are you happy with the Huang pick? The Hechan Huang pick he has done for Leeds?
Honestly, no, not over Jimenez because I find Jimenez better. But still, if it's a price constraint, then you can't help it. Then obviously, you want with a better pick. Probably start, but
So would you?
difficult to switch in that price range. Then.
Uh,
If he is having Yuan, so difficult to get another striker in his position who's playing every week in week out.
so if since he's on a wild card, would you rather have Antonio and Huang or would you have Tony and Armstrong?
Uh, See, it's a bit tacky question because you're comparing with both like coming from the promoted side. Tony, Armstrong.
True.
So both are unknown quantities. Tony looks good, but he's not giving points.
So would you would stick
And
with Antonio and
Antonio and you, I'll go with Antonio as one then in that case. Both are Antonio at least proven performer, you can say.
True. Any other player that probably is not in his team that a differential that you would have looked at right now if you're going on a wild card? Any players that particularly interest you if you would have gone in a wild card if you had a wild card right now?
Uh, I would have looked in at Arsenal midfielder Saka especially
Hmm.
because I find him better than Aubameyang pick because he will save you price as well as he's getting in good positions as well.
True. I think I particularly would not probably go. I would rather, if I have to invest, I think I would invest into Arsenal defense than Arsenal attack because we don't look like scoring a lot of goals. Uh, I
Of
would
course,
rather.
White is a no-brainer. 4.5, you can't expect any top four, top six clubs defend. You can't turn the chance to gain a top four defender.
True. I think probably I would personally go for Embuemo. Embuemo, I think, is a very good option going forward. Foden is a punt again. I definitely like a lot.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
and I think at this point of time, uh, Lukaku is somebody that probably is must have. I think, in my opinion.
Lukaku is a no-brainer. He's a must-have, same as Salah. Lukaku, Salah are the two person first two names on the sheet right now in any wild card, especially for me.
Any particular moves that you are looking to make for the upcoming game week? Rohit? Talking
Uh,
about your
I
team.
need to figure. Actually, that's the thing. I have kept 4 million in the bank because I knew I wanted to get City asset. So I'm in a quandary whether I should get City defense or City mid.
So you will be making that move. I think if you are going for an attack, I think it will be in place of Sar. I think.
Yeah, might be Sa or Jota, and either one of those two.
You don't want to keep Jota for
So
Watford.
I don't know whether he will start or not because Firmino is back. I'm not sure how much he'll play.
So considering if Jota, I mean, even if he does not start, he definitely comes on for 20-30 minutes. You're not willing to keep him for Watford.
I might keep him for Watford, but if I had to get in a midfielder, I would go in for Foden from City as a punt from for this week. Or if I'm going for Chelsea City defense, I would go in for Cancelo. Or
Somebody,
I never might go for both, but taking a hit as well. Because it's for a long term, as I said. City pictures are looking good from now onwards.
true. Somebody who probably, if say they own Jota and Greenwood in midfield, who would be the priority transfer out of the two?
Uh, I would prefer Greenwood to go out because I
Hmm.
don't see much point potential in him right now.
Even though they are playing Leicester, you don't see United
Yeah,
scoring that much.
he had a bad
Hmm.
score, but I don't see much potential in him right now.
True. I agree.
Actually, honestly, ideally both should go, Jota and Greenwood. So I think I guess Jota time is over now. With Firmino back, Jota, you don't know when he will start, when he will come from the bench. Obviously, you can't have a player who will come from the bench. You can expect him to start every now and then. Better to have Foden who will at least play and he will get you more chances.
True. I do agree to that. Anyways, thank you, Rohit. It was lovely chatting to you. I
Yeah,
hope
pleasure. Yeah,
I
glad to
hope
have you again.
people got to know you a bit better. One final question: like, are you planning to get back to number one in all-time ranking this
Hopefully
season?
soon, very soon, probably
I
get back
I
my
I
coveted
see that
spot.
happening this season.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on our pod.
Thanks to
I'm
you
sure
too. Thank
people
you for
people
having me.
enjoyed, right?
I
And
enjoy too.
I would love it if you can do the like and subscribe for our channel, Rohit.
Sure, definitely.
Right. So if you can just ask people and appeal to people that know to like and subscribe, like how we see at the end.
Friends, everyone, please, I urge you to please like and subscribe to Somnath's channel. He is a terrific guy. Please do
Thank,
like and subscribe his
thank you
channel.
so much, guys, and uh, gracious enough for Rohit to actually give us time. He has been very patient with us, and due to all our technical issues. Thank you so much, Rohit. Wish you a very good season. Obviously, we'll be keeping on touch on over the phone. And guys, if you
Thank
liked
you
our
very much.
content, do like and subscribe. It helps us a lot, and hopefully you keep bringing quality content for you guys. Thank you. May your arrows be green, and we'll be doing a pod before the game week 8 deadline. Thank you, guys. Goodbye.
Thank you very much, everyone.